So near the end of 2021, I made a video called Awful Slenderman Games, which basically had me go on the App Store and looked at some of the various mobile Slenderman games out there. But while developing the video, in the corner of my eye, I spotted Slendrina, which is like Slenderman, but not man. Playing these games, I found them to be really strange, as they were generally not that scary. It was also quite surprising to see the abundance of Slendrina games out there, as oh boy, there is a lot of them. Now of course, not being Slenderman, I didn't really bother to investigate any of those games in the video, but did plan to talk about them in the near future. And now, the future is here. So today, I want to explore and play some of these games, and just see how scary they can really be. Are these games any scary, or are they just nothing more than a cheap jump scare simulator? Well, it's time to find out. So without further ado, let's take a look at some poorly made Slendrina games. So the first game we'll be playing is Slendrina Cellar, a game where you're stuck in a spooky dungeon and have to escape the spooky girl. Scrolling down the page, the description reads, "This is the story of Slendrina the Cellar." Now, she has become more evil than before and hates it when someone intruding on her territory. She will do anything to stop you. Wherever you go, do not look back. So basically, the premise of this game is like some of the 8 pages, where you have to find 8 objects in order to win. Those objects being random books. Now, I don't know why there are 8 books just scattered all over the cellar, but whatever, we'll take what we can get. Upon spawning in, there are 4 doors for you to go to, with one of them being the door to escape, and the other 3 to find the books. And now the game has begun. So Slendrina is kind of weird. The main way she kills you is if you continue to look at her, a little bit like Slenderman. Actually, quite a lot like Slenderman. And the only way to survive from her is to simply just look away, to which she will disappear completely. However, there are also other ways of her killing you. If you are in the wrong place at the wrong time, then all of a sudden Slendrina will turn into phase 2, where she will kill you if you stand in her way. But like, she doesn't actually kill you. It looks like it at first, but then you just get back up. What? And also, turning around from her also doesn't work either. So that was kind of strange. The map of this game seems to consist of a maze with a few rooms everywhere, with some of the rooms harboring the books. It's definitely mediocre design, as mazes in horror games are nothing really special, making the game feel really boring when there isn't anything else to do. There are rooms in this game, like a storage room, a room with a bookshelf, etc. But other than that, most of the map just consists of mainly corridors. Another mechanic that this game has is locked doors. While most rooms around the map can be accessed, a lot of them need keys in order to be unlocked. So not only do we have to find books, but we also have to find keys to unlock doors containing books. And sometimes you might not even find anything at all. One major problem that this game has is the amount of locked rooms being totally useless, meaning that occasionally you might unlock a door only for that room to contain nothing. And combined with the maze-like layout of the map, and you have yourself a game that can take up to half an hour to complete. This game also has its fair share of bugs. Like for example, doors tend to protect you from the monster. So at times, you can kind of just see Slendrina standing there at an angle. There was also a lot of jump scares in this game, like getting a pop-up screen or even a freaking head of Slendrina flying at you. Although unfortunately for me, one of the pop-ups glitched and was on my screen for the rest of the game, so that was nice. But yeah, that's kind of all this game has to offer. Once you get the 8 books, you go back to spawn and win the game. Yay. Now, despite how seemingly boring this game was, a lot of people actually seem to like it. With over 1,000 ratings, that rounds up to a 4.2. And honestly, I can actually see why. I kind of come off to this game as if it was boring, and for the most part it was. But really, it's actually pretty decent for being a mobile game. It's serviceable, and while there isn't really any replayability in this game, there isn't really a whole lot that this game does wrong. So yeah, that's about it for this game. Overall, this game was okay. So the next game I'll be playing is Slendrina the Cursed Home. If you are scared, don't play this game. Not suitable if you suffer from the heart. A girl disappears in strange circumstances. So loading into the menu, it was already apparent that this game wasn't going to be any good. The reviews of this game also seem to think the same way, saying things like boring, the controls are bad, and urge you not to get this game. So this is going to be interesting. Anyways, after watching an ad about some crappy family game, I was now in the cursed house of Slendrina. The first thing that you are tasked to do is try to unlock this door. This can be solved by shoving through a bunch of boxes and acquiring a key. Yeah, so this game has physics, but they're not really that good. Upon walking close to them, they tend to just fly in a random direction. But whatever, now that we have our key, we can begin the game. So the goal of this game is like the last Slenderina game, where you need to find an object to again escape the house. But this time around, it's not 8 objects or anything like that. It's just a simple key. But as you'll soon learn, I could not seem to find the said key. So the main problem that this game has is easily the chandeliers. Upon going in each room, there will be a chance that a chandelier is in them. And for whatever reason, I guess Slenderina's house is really faulty, because upon going near them, they will fall and sink into the ground. And if you're right on top of them, then you die. This is easily the most annoying mechanic in this game, as it's really frustrating to get killed by the environment when you're not paying attention. And even worse, every time you die, you are always subjected to the same ad about some crappy piano game. Thankfully, you can skip this, but by then you would have already forgotten about the chandeliers, only for you to die by them again. It got so annoying to the point where I've died from chandeliers more than Slenderina herself. And speaking of Slenderina, she also isn't any better. For some reason, she is really slow, and half the time it seems that you can just look at her safely without dying. Naturally, if you look at her normally, your life bar will go down. But sometimes I found myself having to look away from Slenderina when I wasn't even in the same room with her. And it also doesn't help that the controls and movement in this game were really bad. Now, I assume that the key is somewhere upstairs, but unfortunately for me, Slenderina would always guard it, meaning that I had to juke her to go upstairs, only for me to die by a random chandelier again. So yeah, I couldn't finish this game. I imagine I could if I really tried, but I figure it's best not to get myself worked up, as this game was really rage-inducing. Don't worry, you're probably not missing out on anything. It most likely would just be something along the lines of "you have escaped, the end." So the third game I'll be playing is House of Slenderina, a game where you barge into Slenderina's house and have to find more objects to escape. So basically, this game plays out like the Cellar game we played a few minutes ago, where you go around in random rooms and get jump scared by the spooky Slenderina. However, this time there are a couple of changes. For one, you are no longer in a crappy maze-like map, which is an upside. But not only that, you also have a map with you too. So already, this game is a step up from the last couple games we've been playing. But other than that, the gameplay is pretty much just Slender the 8 pages. The goal of this game is to find 8 pieces of notes. After that, we put it into this cabinet and go downstairs into another cellar. There isn't really much interesting to know in the gameplay. It's just like the Cellar game, but now we're in a house. Inside the house, there is an upstairs, a kitchen, several rooms with nothing but crates in them, and a spider grandma looking thing. Yeah, so the lore by this point of Slenderina gets really weird. Apparently, spoiler alert, Slenderina has a mom, which although she doesn't actually attack you, does play a couple jump scares on you throughout the game. Naturally, there are a lot of locked doors in this house, so a majority of the gameplay is just you looking around for keys to unlock more doors. Eventually, when you find the last page, the cabinet opens up, revealing a cellar key. Yay. Once we go down in the cellar, we go through some hallways, only to reveal that one of the doors is stuck. I mean, we could just, unlock it like all the other doors we just used, but for whatever reason, your character wants to break down the door, to which we do that a moment later. Once we break down the door, we go inside and oh noes! It's Slenderina's parents! Wait, hold on. Is that Slenderman? Oh my god. Slenderman had a child. The lore expands. But yeah, that's pretty much the ending. Overall, this game was just like the Cellar game, but now in a house. I will give it credit for definitely playing out better than the last 2 games, but that's not really saying much. Looking at the App Store, this game has over 650 ratings that rounds up to a 4.2. Again, this game is serviceable as a mobile horror game, but putting that aside, it's kind of just a boring generic version of Slender the 8 pages, with lore that is really weird. So yeah, let's go on to the next game. So the next game we'll be playing is Slenderina 2D, which takes place in Slenderina's house, again, but in the second dimension. So spawning in, the game gives us a story to go off of. Hello, my name is Alexander. I just have to tell you about what happened to me one evening when I was out for a walk. Suddenly, the rain began to fall from the sky, and I started running to find a shelter. In front of me, there appeared an old abandoned house that I have never seen before. I decided to take a closer look. Okay, so basically this nerd was walking until it suddenly started to rain. But instead of going back home, he barges into some crappy house and then proceeds to explore it. During our adventure, we experience the usual stuff from all the other Slenderina games. We unlock various doors, go underground, solve puzzles, and run away from Slenderina. You are given 3 lives before the game restarts. However, unless you're looking straight at Slenderina for 5 seconds, then you won't die. There are traps in this game, but they can only ever seem to really poke you at worst. The hell? Alright, well, moving on. The traps include random blades, axes coming out of the roof, and poison gas. So if you thought the lore of this game was weird, well, it's about to get even weirder. So after barging into this random house, we explore it like any normal human being, and after unlocking several doors, we go into an elevator and then into a cave. Then we get a metal rod, beat up Slenderina's grandma, then we rescue this random girl with really crappy dialogue.
Hey. Are you okay?
Help me!
Who are you?
And then get out of the house by blowing some rock. And then we escape? What? What is up with the stories of Slenderina? Why do we blow stuff up and go into random people's houses? So that was the end of this game. There's not really a whole lot to say about Slenderina 2D, other than that the story was really strange. There's nothing really wrong with the game, it's just really boring and, well, not scary. Well, it seems I'll be deleting this game now, so let's just move on. And that was the last game that I played on my list. So in conclusion, Slenderina is kind of an odd character. Not only is it just Slenderman but girl, but the games that she appears in are also really strange. It's worth noting, by the way, that about 80% of all the Slenderina games are made from one developer, that being some guy called Dennis. So if any of these games looked or played out the same, then that might be because most of them were both made by the same guy. But yeah, Slenderina was not really that scary. But hey, that's just my opinion. If you want to play these games, then go for it. I'm not stopping you. Before I go, if you want to see more videos like these on my channel, then I have a playlist that's content is similar to this video. And also, like I said in the intro, I have a Slenderman video that I made back in 2021. So if you want to watch that, the link will be in the description. Well, that's about all I have to say. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you sometime in the future. Goodbye.